Hello friends and fiends far and near, Dave the Crazed Collector here, and I am a monster kid down at the Sacramento History Museum. Now, Monster Kids is actually a name that all of us claim with great pride. A lot of people that grew up in the early 60s were treated to the release of monster movies to early television. Before that, we'd been watching maybe Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, Zorro, and crime shows, but suddenly monsters were everywhere. And this case is full of monsters. These are the pop tops. You could switch their heads around, which made no sense to me. And then there's a Pez creature. Everybody remember Pez? Who remembers Pez? Tell me your favorite Pez guy. Here's Trolls. Trolls came out in the early 60s the first time around. And we've got those yellow pants, by the way, were made by my mom. And there's a two-headed troll, quite rare and infamous and famous. Plus we've got the Marx characters. So these Marx figures were great to have our little monster operas because we didn't have any backstory really. We just had all the monsters in the sandbox or in the dirt and they played things out. Plus then, of course, once monsters become ubiquitous and we understand who they are, then you've got monsters that are funny and they're on TV, like the Munsters and the Munsters and the Addams Family. We've got the Bride of Frankenstein in here. Plus all sorts of cool stuff that my parents bought for me that I didn't even know I wanted and I was allowed to keep. Here, my friends, is another great case of monsters. Up here was another series of monsters from the company Palmer. And what's great in there is they had rare monsters like Gorgo, who's a giant lizard guy, King Kong, Terror from Beyond Space, the Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. As a monster kid, you go, these are the cool guys. Plus, we've even got a shout out to Sasquatch, if you believe in the corner there. There's Sasquatch over there, and a couple of werewolves, because I love werewolves. These waxy looking guys are air fresheners from Wizard. My mom bought them out of a catalog, and of course I kept them for eternity. And one of the amazing things is even the US Post Office recognized monsters and the actors that portrayed them. That would be about maybe a bunch of years ago. You can look it up, but I can't remember one. But the great thing about monsters is they resonate with us as outsiders. I liked monsters because, again, they didn't plan to be monsters and they needed our sympathy. I always feel bad for them. It's kind of like Beauty and the Beast. I felt bad for King Kong. And werewolves, cursed with that. And then you got vampires who suck the blood of the living, and poor Frankenstein never asked to be born. And Creature from the Black Lagoon. Again, Beauty and the Beast. You know, they were hunted down because they were different. They were attacked by villagers with torches. Over here, this is a great bunch of guys. This is the MPC Frito-Lay mini monsters. They came free when you bought a 6-pack or a 5-pack of Frito-Lay for school lunches. And they were amazing because they were guys that had no backstory. You had to make it up. Who's that orange guy with the knife? The executioner. Or who's the skeleton with the scythe? That's the gravedigger, we called him. And the mummy and a witch. What was really great, if you want to know the story, my mom wrote to Frito-Lay and said, my son loves mini monsters. And they sent me a big chunky envelope full of monsters. That was the day back then when a kid could get an envelope full of monsters and it made his day like Christmas and birthday all together. So those are part of the monsters that we're looking at here at the Sacramento History Museum. I want you to come down, tell me about your favorite monster. Who are you scared of? Who was your first monster? What was your first monster movie? What do you consider the best monster of all time?